everybody. How are you doing today? It is another glorious Friday, and we finally hit June. So you know what that means? It means Pride Out. Celebrate all of your fellow LGBTQA community members here because we want to share the love, especially because there's a lot of hate going around in the United States, and we want to make sure that we promote love. Speaking of love, I love to hear, Javion, about your birthday weekend.
It was fantastic. So I had the best meal I've ever had. Ruth Chris, which I know is a chain, but I still love it. I found out I like spicy shrimp, so that was exciting. And a friend of mine helped me achieve one of my biggest gamer goals. And I'm going to turn my the blur off on my webcam here for a second to show you.
Oh my god. Oh no!
Oh, yeah!
Wow. Let's do it.
Finally here. So yeah, so this is definitely what we're going to be playing next game night. We're just going to play Twilight Imperium for the next, let's just call it like a quick 16 to 18 hours.
Yeah, 16 to 18 hours. Jeez,
Twilight
Louise.
Imperium. So excited. I love Twilight Imperium so much. I got the newest edition of it too. It's all nice and shiny. I can't wait to open it up and play it. I'm very, very excited. And I had a great week.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed your rotation around the sun, and you have the hefty Twilight Imperium box, the hefties. Also, what we're going to be going around. Peter, what have you been doing this week?
Well, I got to see you on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you did.
You invited us down to your place, and so Dee and I went. Thank you for the invitation. We had a really nice time. Yeah, I was glad to see that you have friends. That's great.
Yes.
In real life, not just online. And also I enjoyed two television series that Dee and I both liked. Concluded this week: Succession and Marvelous Miss Maisel. Actually, Maisel might have concluded. We might have just been behind, but we concluded watching both those series. And
what did you think of the ending? No spoilers.
Yeah, with no spoilers, I thought both shows ended really well. I think Miss Maisel especially ended really well. Just went and did such a good job of circling through all the different plots that were going on and just putting a nice little button on each one of them. And it was
good.
Nice.
Ted Lasso and Barry also concluded this last week.
I was about to mention Barry.
There are a lot of conclusions to a lot of beloved series this week.
Yes. We haven't watched Ted Lasso yet this whole season. We missed it somehow. I know. We gotta get it.
It's the best ending. It was the best.
Okay, we'll watch it. Good.
Yes. Well, there's more recommendations. All the recommendations. I still have to start on Silo to get, but I think that series is not over. Silo is just a whole other thing. But yeah, no, I'm glad. Fun fact, Peter, all of those people that you saw in real life, I met all on the internet. I didn't actually meet them in person. So all of my friends I met via the internet. It's great. Speaking of friends we meet on the internet, Noir.
Hello.
How was your week?
Oh, my week has been pretty chill. A friend of mine is decluttering their apartment, so they gave me all their dice. What I didn't know is that they used to work at a dice company. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff.
Ooh,
you have the best friends.
My favorite is the Pride dice. Dice. It fits for the month. And also, as part of Pride, I finally got a water bottle because I'm weaning myself off of soda and booze. So it's just water and no cigarettes. So I've been stressed.
You know what? Kudos for you taking that leap. I know it's really hard. I have friends that have attempted getting clean multiple times. So
honestly, I think soda is worse than nicotine.
Soda, it's sugar. Sugar is one of the addictive
That's
drugs.
Yeah, but other than that, I've just been booking a lot of projects, and I just can't wait to start talking to y'all about them.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear about them, especially because like every other week you'll be like, "Yeah, this project is what I'm on. This project, I'm ready to see that smile light up on your face whenever you have something you're really passionate about."
There is what I can say.
Oh, tell us.
on Q Times, we're starting up season 2 of Beacon, which is our alien show sponsored by Demiplane and Free League. So we're
Wow.
gonna be in spooky space again.
Spooky
Congratulations.
space.
Thank you.
Davion's favorite topic, spooky space, right?
Yep. Everybody knows 2 things I love: space and scary
spook-
stuff.
Yes, exactly. well, me, I have exciting news. Yesterday, my sister, the airports on Guam are finally back working, so she was able to fly over. She's still like a little bit jet lagged, so she's asleep right now. But I'm very happy to have my youngest sister here to visit me and take her around Seattle and hang out. And I'm very excited just to have sister time. With that, I feel like with this whole idea of brotherly love and sisterlyhood, we should roll right on to Space Marines 40K. No,
For the Empire!
for the Emperor!
More blood for the blood phone. Oh, sorry. I got really excited. So we've got some news coming out of the Warhammer community. Lieutenant Titus storms into action with a new miniature in Space Marine, the board game. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is the hotly anticipated sequel to the action-packed 2011 hack and slash video game. We've already seen the trailer for Warhammer Skulls 2023, but this isn't the last that you've seen of Lieutenant Titus. The grim protagonist of this game of Xenos extermination is coming to a tabletop near you in miniature form, the star of the new tie-in board game. So it's a video game based off of a war game, and that video game is now getting a tabletop game. It's game inception, whatever kind of game you want. Next, I'm expecting a VR game because we're gonna take this in every angle that we can. But but all jokes aside, this is going to be extremely interesting to kind of see a storyline go from a video game to a tabletop game and back and forth. I do like what Warhammer's doing with their lore in their different products, and I'm super excited for this. I'm kind of curious. What do you all think about this?
I just want to see what how the telephone game is going to work through the board games and what's going to actually go through and what's not. All of the core thing is that it just needs to always have an emperor and everything always needs to be grimdark. As long as they keep those themes, I think they'll be pretty solid. What about you two?
I love that they're adding in the minis to make it feel like you're playing Warhammer, but calling it a board game so that people are like, oh, well, this isn't a miniatures game. It's a board game. I'll play that.
I mean, why not, right? Why not give it a try? Sure. We'll see. I mean, it always comes down to the design. Is it a good design? Is it going to be, is it elegant yet deep and all that sort of stuff like that? Who knows?
I like the smoldering dude on the front cover of the board game.
That's Titus.
Pretty cool.
I was just about to say, I can't tell you about the game design, but I can tell you that Titus's figure looks amazing.
Just surrounded by so many like raptors on this game board. That sounds awesome.
Yes. No, that is very exciting. So people who, of course, love Warhammer 40K has to look forward to this board game, which is probably going to be another, you want a little taste of something? Here we go. Speaking of getting a little taste, a little emerging palette coming in, Peter, you have some exciting things about not just the next headline, but somebody we're going to be interviewing today, right?
That's right. Yeah, emerging. Yes, I see what you did there, Bonsai. So last year, the Diana Jones Award Committee announced a new program designed to shine a spotlight on emerging designers with special consideration to designers from marginalized communities, POCs, LGBTQIA+, etc. This week, the committee announced this year's winners. There are 4 of them, of what they're calling the Emerging Designer Award. In no particular order, the winners are Erin Roberts, who is a writer of stories and games who enjoys bringing imagined worlds to life. Her recent work includes the adventure Written in Blood for the Dungeons & Dragons adventure book, Journeys to the Radiant Citadel, which we have talked about a lot on this show. Sen HHS is a Taiwanese freelance tabletop RPG writer who has self-published and written for many publishers and projects. Her credits include Rage of Elements, Tianxia, and Paizo's Bestiary 3. Anthony Joyce Rivera is a Hispanic, two-time Emmy-nominated game designer, entertainment and gaming military consultant, and an active duty U.S. Army strategist. Thank you for your service. Kayla Dice has been publishing games since December 2020. Her games focus on themes of alienation and connection, with an emphasis on straightforward to grasp rules and evocative flavor. And Kayla is also the only person who has accepted our offer to play one of her games on the show. It's going to be, let's see, Transgender Deathmatch Legend is the name of the game.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will have each of these award winners as interview guests here on TableTakes over the next few weeks, all between now and Gen Con, starting today with Erin Roberts. So stick around, and toward the end of our show, Erin Roberts will join us, and we will ask her all sorts of very insightful questions.
So if any of you in chat have any questions you want to go ahead and ask her, feel free to type it down and we will try to note it. So when we do the interview and we have time to go ahead and gush and fanfare all over her. So wait, phrasing, sorry. We can go ahead and do that. But from this happiness, you know what we need? I think we need Gloomhaven. Javion, tell us about it.
Bring us some gloom.
Absolutely. So some of you might recall that last year in December, Cephalofair Games announced that there would be a role-playing game for a beloved franchise, Gloomhaven, which you could just speculate how that's going to go. Well, they announced that in April 2023, the backer kit for the RPG and a line of miniatures is actually being slid to June 20 instead. So later this month, we're going to be seeing that Gloomhaven RPG crowdfunding campaign finally starting so people can back it, because a lot of people were really excited about it once they heard that Frosthaven was finally out, and the huge reception that Jaws of the Lion got. Well, guess what? There's a second edition of Gloomhaven that will also be included on the crowdfunding project. It's got a revised and updated version of the Isaac Childress 2017 blockbuster Gloomhaven. So here's what's going to be the same, and here's what's going to be different. Now, Cephalofair said that the world and the story are going to stay the same, essentially. But really, they're adding in lots of new scenarios, newly written narrative, and events. There's also going to be some changes to the gameplay. While the core game rules are going to stay basically the same, yes, that means there's no dice being added in like I was praying for, but it will be featuring a rebalanced and redesigned class system, new items, as well as updated miniatures, and a new faction-based reputation system. There's also much more they haven't announced in their press release just yet, but we're looking forward to seeing what they show us in the crowdfunding campaign later this month. So Drew Penn and Dennis Vogele said in the press release that they spent the last 6 years reading the community's feedback on all of the Gloomhaven games, and they had a clear vision for what they wanted to achieve for the project this time around. So we're definitely going to see a lot of updates to the art, all the components, tiles, and encounters getting their fresh look, as well as all of the items, all of the different materials that you get from the second edition of Gloomhaven are actually going to be compatible with the Gloomhaven role-playing game and the first edition of Gloomhaven as well. So if you get a second copy, the second edition of Gloomhaven, you have some incentive to actually play through it again. You can discover all the new stuff and then still use all the bits in the RPG, or just add it in, just dump it into your big Gloomhaven box. Or the Frosthaven box if you've already collected that one as well. So we're looking at an early 2024 release for Gloomhaven's second edition, given the extent of the changes across numerous components an upgrade kit for Gloomhaven will not be sold separately. So you gotta buy the second edition if you want to get in on all the hot stuff. I don't know if y'all have been like following Board Game Geek, the list of all the like top games or whatever, but Gloomhaven was #1 for years, literally #1 board game in 2018, 2019, and so on. I think people are really excited for more Gloomhaven content, and anybody would be, especially with a game that's supposed to be a legacy game that you're only supposed to play once. Having more and more content to add in all the time. I just know that people have already started campaigns for this kind of game, are already planning out their schedule for starting the RPG once they get their hands on the PDF copies and things like that. So I don't know if y'all have actually played Gloomhaven. I've never been a huge fan of it myself, so I'm really happy to hear that they're updating a lot of the different things in the second edition, giving it a fresh look and giving it some more options for people like me who maybe didn't like it the first time around to try it again. What do you think?
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I haven't played it, but I've always wanted to. I could tell by looking at it, it wasn't a game that Dee would want to play. And so, when you're married to a gamer, a lot of your game experience is like based around the things that you both want to play. And there's plenty of that. So, but I would like to sneak off and play it some weekend,
I mean,
what about you,
solo mode. You can play it on your show.
This has been one of those games that I've had my eye on for a minute because it keeps popping up, like in some form or fashion. It keeps popping up in my life, and I'm like, I'm right there with you, Peter. Like, if you're sneaking off to play it, like, you send me a call. Like,
Chicago.
I think that's what a lot of.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's
take
what
an Uber. It'll only be like $1 bajillion.
$1 bajillion, just a small $1 bajillion, just a small donation of $1 bajillion. But no, I think a lot of people, at least for myself, I've had like a friend who has a copy and has all the like bought Etsy slots and stuff like that, the custom box to make it super organized and everything like that. It's just that us as a gaming group, or at least my gaming group, we always like changing up the flavor, and Gloomhaven is something that we have definitely seen that you need a dedication for a beast. Like this campaign is probably with everything at least 2 to 3 years long if you really play it how it's supposed to be. So we're like, we don't want to be married to one campaign. We like dipping our toes in all the various little ponds. So for my gaming group, it's something that we like the idea and concept of, but we just don't want to dedicate the time to this large campaign.
It'll be interesting to see if they update the digital version of Gloomhaven as well. They haven't announced that yet. We'll have to keep our eyes open for the details on the crowdfunding campaign later this month.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when, switching back from all these video games, digital versions, solid versions, and you know what? Digital becoming solid games, like the game I'm talking about right now. Guess what? Thank you, Christian Hoffer at comicbooks.com for giving this article. Terraria is getting a board game adaptation. So Terraria, if you're not aware of it, it's a popular 2D sandbox exploration game, very similar to vibes of Minecraft, Stardew Valley, but except like everything kills you as you go deeper and deeper into the abyss. It's getting a board game adaptation. Relogic, the developers behind Terraria, just basically announced this week that they will be teaming up with Paperfort Games, a new board game publisher, to bring Terraria to a tabletop setting. The game will be crowdfunded and first demoed will be available like basically at the UK Game Expo this weekend. We were mentioning it last week as well that the UK Game Expo is happening. So this is one of the games you can look forward to seeing and getting your hands on. The whole concept of the game is you dig, fight, explore, and build in a co-op tabletop adventure for 1 to 4 players. The games will include some of the elements from the video games, such as biome exploration, character progress, and base building, combat, and co-op games. And the brand new non-16-bit, so you don't always have to have pixelated art. It's now breaking out of the box of it. So very much, there's not that much detail in it. And I feel like, have you guys played Terraria before?
Yes.
Oh yes, of course, Javion.
Of course. I love
Of course.
creating different cages for all the NPCs because that's my favorite thing to do.
I have not played it myself, but I have seen it played.
Aw.
It's just 2D Minecraft. But
It is
there's a
2D.
lot that's different about it. Considering how Minecraft already made a board game and now Terraria is making a board game, you could think like, oh, Terraria is just like Terraria was also made after Minecraft, so now they're just following Minecraft. But you ask anybody who plays Terraria on a regular basis, and I promise you, they will go for hours and hours talking about all the different things that you can do in Terraria that aren't even close to possible in Minecraft. Not even with mods, even. Terraria is a huge game, and I can definitely see why people might be excited to have a board game version of it. I just hope it's better than the Stardew Valley board game, because that was a disaster.
Yeah, that was hard to get a handle of, and there's definitely mixed reviews about this. But I like the idea of video games getting adapted into board games and full circle all the way around, just like the Warhammer 40K. It keeps going in circles. Let's just keep reuse, recycling all those things. And we're gonna go ahead and roll right on to some things. Being about reuse, reused, and remastered. What about that, Noir?
I am living for these segues. So last weekend was PaizoCon, and we got some pretty cool announcements. We're getting some remastered Pathfinder books. They're going to be making some changes, and we got some exciting news for Starfinder. I'm going to stop gushing and just get into it. So the company behind Pathfinder is Starfinder Tabletop RPGs, has decorated its table with a bounty of upcoming releases during PaizoCon Online 2023. It really was a good event. You guys should have checked it out. Players who attended the digital event on May 26th learned about several new Pathfinder books planned for the coming year, including a deep exploration of dwarven lore. Yes! Sorry. And the chance to pilot their own mechs on a planet ruled by kaiju. I've never seen a more awesome sentence in my life. PaizoCon allows the Washington, U.S.-based tabletop RPG publisher the opportunity to lay out its development roadmap for its next year, which currently centers on further distancing Pathfinder from D&D's open gaming license, a project Paizo previously dubbed Pathfinder Second Edition Remaster Project. Elsewhere, its sci-fi title, Starfinder, is undergoing a similar refinement process, beginning with classes and some core rule changes. As an observer of Starfinder, this is very good news. Pathfinder Second Edition has been updated a lot more than Starfinder, so Starfinder getting tweaked. Really exciting news. The cornerstone of the remaster project focuses on 4 core rule books slated for 2024. But the first published title reflecting Paizo's new design principles will arrive in August this year. Rage of the Elements, previously announced for a Gen Con release, was called the first remaster compatible rulebook and will calibrate players' expectations for Pathfinder's lineup going forward. So again, very exciting news. If you're a Pathfinder fan like I am, this is very exciting. And if you're a Starfinder fan like I would like to be, it's even more exciting. But that's my opinion. I'm curious to know what you fine people think. So what do you think about this, guys?
Oh, well, I am immediately hooked on dwarves and kaiju. That's like sold me. I'm like, yes, I would like these. Please tell me more about the dwarves and kaiju.
You get to have a mech on a planet controlled by kaiju, just nonstop robot fighting. Sorry.
No. It sounds very exciting, and I can't wait to basically see more about this. It's just, yeah, there's just so much to go on about, but we have to challenge ourselves to like stay on task, right, Javion?
Absolutely. Like this new board game that was just announced called Challengers 2. You may have heard of Challengers. It was an award-winning game. It won the Kennerspiel des Jahres, the Enthusiast Game of the Year for 2023, and the Asdor Award for Best Initiated Game, as well as Sorry, it didn't actually win the Kennerspiel. It was nominated for this year. My bad. But yeah, there are a lot of awards calling it like a casual game, a strategy game. What really is Challengers? It's a capture the flag game where you're collecting lots of different cards over several rounds of play, about 7 rounds. And what you're doing is you're trying to collect cards that will give you good combos and eventually have the higher number over and over and over again. It's got fast action gameplay, and it actually can play up to 8 players in a tournament style. That's its sort of claim to fame. You're going into one-on-one matches with several people on the table, and you'll have to get up and move to a different side of the table because, like in other tournament style card games, you do need to find your table and your competitor and fight them one-on-one with your updated decks of cards. There's lots of different characters to choose from. There's lots of different challengers that you can add into your deck and many more combos. So you can see why it's a very popular game. Well, Challengers 2 is a standalone expansion. It's also a sequel as well. So it's going to add in over 70 new characters for new combos, as well as 16 new trainer cards. It's a unique new addition to the game series that adds abilities that can improve a player's defense or strength, or even allow them to reorganize their deck, which is crucial for the gameplay. I had a chance to actually try it just yesterday, Challengers. Just on a whim, I just decided to play. I didn't even realize the sequel was coming out, and I loved it. I have to say, the ease of entry into a game like this, I wasn't expecting it. It looked like it was going to have like a lot of rules, a new card game, you have to learn a bunch of stuff. But honestly, it just ends up being really fun in a way that Smash Up really wasn't for me. Having that sort of one-on-one combat, getting the strategy of deciding what goes into your deck, you're just constantly deck building every single round. But also, you can't make your deck of cards too big, because if it is too big, then you end up just losing the game outright because you keep on playing cards and you just end up losing the game altogether. So it's sort of like a risk reward system where you're constantly managing your cards. It's super fun. The game was designed by Johannes Krenner and Marcus Flautschek, the creators of the original Challengers. So if you are looking forward to this as much as I am, keep an eye out for it. It's going to support up to 16 players, ages 8 and up, instead of eight players. Up to 16 all at once. You can combine the 2 sets together, so you can play Challengers 2 with Challengers 1 all at the same time. And it's going to MSRP at about $40 when it releases. So definitely keep your eyes open for it. I know I will be collecting this one as soon as I can.
Ooh, all the collections, all the card things, but you want to know something that we have collect? The end of our headlines. That's what we collected right there. Boom, 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 boom. But that's all right. We're going to just roll right on to I Choose You, Javion, for the Bundle Boss. I don't have
Why,
more,
thank you, Bonsai. Thank you very much. Yes, today's Bundle Boss is a very special bundle. It is a adults only bundle. That's right. This is a not safe for work bundle. It's the Queer Games Bundle 2023, put on by itch.io. So the Queer Games Bundle has over 450 amazing, heartfelt, fun, and radical games and artwork. So you're not just getting games, you're also getting a bunch of software, you're getting some web comics, and even some zines that you can flip through and even bring to the table the next time you want a challenging game for your queer table, or any table really. It's all the proceeds will go to nurturing the diverse queer arts community and funding the creation of the next great game that you love. And maybe you'll find your next favorite game by purchasing the bundle today. I will say once again that this is a very not safe for work bundle. It's got a lot of content for folks who are looking for some queer stuff or looking to support some queer artists and designers. It's all for the low price of $60, but there's also a pay what you can $10 to $20 sliding scale bundle as well. So you can still get a bunch of content if you're balling on a budget. This year's team includes Caroline Delbert, Taylor McHugh, Tony Catino, Nathalie, Cade Rages Peterson, and much, much more. There are a lot of really cool things in this bundle. I've seen a bunch of stuff that I've never seen before, and also some familiar titles such as 2064, Read Only Memories, and Glitter Hearts. So if that sounds good to you, head on over to the link that's in Twitch chat. See if you can donate to a very, very worthy cause. Their next goal is $29,000, and it looks like they're just shy by about $3,100. So anything that you can do to contribute will go to a thriving community that could definitely use the help.
Yes, all for gotta give the love, gotta give representation, and gotta have some for the spicier folks who want spicier games.
Yeah.
I'm all down for spicy games.
Why is it so spicy? Sorry.
Spicy. But yes, now before we jump into the crowdfunder quote, I just wanted to I just realized that I did not give Paizo enough love that we should have. So Peter, Javon, did you want to add on to that subject before we roll on? Because I realized that I was just like, Starfinder, all I care about is kaiju. So I realized that I just rolled over you two. Let me go ahead.
I mean, no, I'm right there with you, Bonsai. Bring on the kaiju with the Max. I like the way Noir said that. I am kind of curious what sort of like the deep immersive role play experience would be there, but it's there, I'm sure. Yeah, let's find it.
Yeah. Can we put the mechs from Starfinder in Pathfinder so you're a bunch of adventurers that stumble upon a giant freaking robot?
That would be a great campaign.
I'm so happy. Okay, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, that's good. That's good. I just wanted to give more of that happiness flavor out because, now it's time to be judged by Javion after you have that happiness dose. Javion, please judge us.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Javion is presiding over the crowdfunder court. If you would all please be seated. We have 3 crowdfunding campaigns that we are going to present for the Twitch chat presiding over the court today. I call Peter to the stand. Peter, as our former crowdfunding court judge, I expect nothing but the highest quality crowdfunding campaign from you.
Well, if I may approach the bench, Your Honor. The crowdfunder I would like to present to the court today is called Overlords in Training. This is on Kickstarter. Overlords in Training is set in the Doodle realms, a splintered universe whose creation, including art and storytelling, began in the mind of a 10-year-old neurodivergent boy. Now, after nearly a decade of further crafting, you can experience this universe through the wild card game combat of Overlords in Training. In Overlords in Training, you take on the roles of aspirant overlords by attacking other players via the fighters you've acquired, hunting the giants deep for crystalline to boost your options, protecting your bases from destruction, and preparing for the boss fight at the end of the game. To win, you must survive attacks by other players and defeat the final boss. It's a quick play, and the artwork is a perfect blend of creepy and adorable. If you go to the Kickstarter, there is also a lovely story that's what caught my attention about the connection between the designer's father and son in the course of exploring this project and helping him bring it to publication. The campaign has raised just over $9,000 toward a goal of $20,000 and has 24 days to go.
I love a good rags to riches story. You may proceed. Thank you, Peter. How about you, Bonsai? You are next up.
All right, so mine isn't actually a crowdfunder, but is a game that is sold independently by its creator on their own website. This is a game that my friend got last Pride, and it's both very, very fun, easy to learn. It's Rainbow Bunny Bop. I realize that this is going to probably be reversed. I don't know, actually. No, it's actually correct. Yay, it's correct inside the camera. This is a 2 to 4 player game for ages 6 and above. It's a color sequencing game where players race to build rainbows. Basically follow the colors Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, as they stack to get rid of be the person to get rid of all of their cards. If you ever played Speed, this is very similar to that, except instead of counting, you have to remember the order in which to put the colors in. It is very like inclusive friendly. It has not only the colors but the names of the colors in very vibrant art. This is a local Seattle creator, so that's why I wanted to hype them up. And also they have a personal story about all of the artwork that's done. Each of the card designs in the back are based off of people from their family and the things that they love the best. So it's very personal to them. So that's why I wanted to present it. Look at this, love, gush, and queer.
I couldn't possibly say no. I mean, on Pride Month of all times, how could I? I love a card game for all ages, and I love that you practice what you preach, Bonsai. I mean, you had a whole copy of the game ready to go on demand.
On demand.
I think this pleases the court. You may also proceed. But Noir, I mean, you got a tough couple of acts.
Yeah, they set the bar so high. This almost doesn't seem fair anymore. I'm gonna have to play dirty. So let's get into it. I would love to introduce all of you to the mythical dice box Dragon Horde, handcrafted luxury tabletop game accessories combining hardwoods and sculptures to create unique fantasy dice boxes. These dragon boxes are built with ethically sourced hardwoods, which are specifically chosen for their resilience and beauty. 7 pockets, all lined with blue faux leather. It'll keep your dice nice and secure. They've already surpassed their goal of $3,761. They're currently at $4,907 with 35 backers and 27 days to go. So you got plenty of time to make sure that your dice are nestled nicely, safely in this beautiful box. You don't want your nice Pride dice to just be lounging all over your table or anything. And I said I had to fight unfair. So if you don't believe me, then take Batman's word for it. Batman also supports this company. So if you want Gotham to be safe, then you will listen to my Kickstarter and not everybody else's. Thank you. And that's my time.
Yay.
Well, Noir, let's see here. Despite your pandering and scheming,
you gonna doom Gotham? Is that what you're gonna do?
I said despite.
Oh, okay.
I believe this is a fine Kickstarter, and any one of our Twitch chatters would be proud to own one of these fancy dice boxes. I commend you on your collection of Kickstarters. All 3 of you today. Give yourselves a round of applause. You deserve it.
Yay. Also, to help Noir, the woods that have been chosen by that dice company is actually good woods that you can use and build with. Okay, just as the straight up announcement
So Bonsai, you have a very unique position when it comes to dice boxes, isn't that right?
Yes, I actually, lo and behold, a lot of people don't know, I actually am a woodworker. I used to do make children's furniture and stuff, and I dipped my toes into making dice towers and stuff like that. And so I know the craft, and I'm like, okay, yes, I appreciate this. This is very well handcrafted, and I can give kudos to this Kickstarter. The only thing is that, why are there pictures of them woodworking in the dark? That's my only problem. It's not safe to woodwork in the dark. Also wear a mask because wood dust is very bad for your lungs. That is all.
Batman and Bonsai back mine. That's all I'm saying.
Good safety tips, Bonsai. Good. Let's keep this show safe. Yes. Good.
Yes, I want to keep it safe. No, but it's very exciting. And like I said, we already have our guest host coming in from the Deanna Jones Emerging Designer Awards. If you guys need a recap, we're bringing in Erin Roberts. She is one of the winners of them. And I can't wait to get in and ask our questions and also repeat in chat. If you are interested in asking your own questions, we'll try to catch them as possible. But if you could just tag Gen Con TV in there and be like, hey, I have a question, we will be sure to ask them. And I believe we're going to go ahead and do some little doodle dance songs as we bring them in. Are we all right, Goddess Anita? Do 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 Welcome to
Hello.
Hello, welcome in, and we are
Hello,
very
Erin.
excited to see you. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Peter. Do you want to do the introductions?
Hi, Erin. Us, Erin. Welcome. Here we go. Done.
Nice. I've been watching the whole show. I had to remember to stop watching. And actually, like you're like, we're
It's
bringing her
riveting.
in, and I was like, no, I gotta go.
It's riveting, isn't it? Do you have any comment? That's our first question. Any comments about our coverage of the news this week? Anything you want to take exception of?
I will fight you. No, in a mech. No, I will not fight you in a mech. But I was super excited because something that I worked on got mentioned in the news, which is the Pathfinder High Helm, the Dwarven City book. So actually, yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I worked on it on parts to be seen. But anyway, so I'm super excited about it coming out later this month. So I was excited that you were excited.
I mean, the Dwarves obviously so excited about this. You got to give them a little nugget. I mean, you give them a little.
Pathfinder's my favorite.
Get me fired.
Pathfinder is what my favorite game right now, and dwarves are my favorite race. So it's just like a warm hug in the news today.
Yeah, I love Pathfinder. I've worked on a few different Lost Omens books, so I love them all. But I'm especially excited about this one. So,
Erin, could you tell us how you got nominated for such a prestigious award?
honestly, so I'm gonna be completely honest. I nominated myself because I do that. I'm gonna be like, look, you got to be out here advocating. I am a huge fan of actually like going for stuff, like going for fellowships, going for grants, going for scholarship. If there's money, recognition, power, evil, no, just kidding, not evil, like anything game or writing related that like I can put my name in front of, I will, because I'm afraid of the internet. Not really, but a little bit. I'm a little bit don't like to be perceived. And so I know that folks don't really know who I am. So when it comes to doing stuff, I'm not out there a lot. And so I got to tell people like I've been in the word mines, putting lore out there and putting games out there. So.
Oh man, you should give us an example of the lore that you made, like maybe dwarves or something. I don't know.
No dwarves. I feel like I should tell you like a Pathfinder lore thing though, just for like fun. It's funny. The other thing that is really cool about the Diana Jones Emerging Designer is it made me realize like how little amount of time I've actually been like out here getting published. So the very first book I was in was a Pathfinder. First published was Grand Bazaar. So Pathfinder Lost Omens Grand Bazaar. And I got to make magical foods. And I got to make foods based on memes and spite, two of my favorite things. So I made impossible cake, which is like cake that looks like other objects, and as a food. And I made basically something that is pretty much Marmite or Vegemite, which helps you live. It helps you get rid of the doomed condition because you don't want it to be the last thing that you ate. Because I hate Marmite with like a passion. So spite and memes.
I have a quick your impossible cake. I had a GM make an impossible cake that looked like a mimic, and I want you to know I'm very upset at you. That said, how do you like Emerging means that you're kind of new at this? How do you like go from just kind of starting to Paizo and Radiant Citadel and all that? I'm just curious how you made those jumps.
Yeah, like a lot of things, it's about like being in the right place at the right time. Like, I actually come from prose writing. So I'm a published short fiction writer, science fiction and fantasy and horror. And so through that, I was like started meeting people through the Nebula conference and the Nebula Awards, which have a game writing award and have for the last couple of years. And so like I always, love games. And so I started meeting people and just saying a lot, look, throwing myself in front of people like, yo, games, it's me. Like, and so, I feel like I always say like getting the first job is kind of hard. The second job is harder. The third is the worst. So the first is where like somebody will give you a chance sometimes to do a small, like that part of that I did of Grand Bazaar is maybe 1,000 words, it's like, even if she screws it up, how bad, it won't ruin the book,
Right.
But then if you do well, they bring you back to see like, was it a fluke? And then if you do well with that, the third one is where you feel like, okay, like people trust you, people know you, people are willing to kind of come back to you. So really just, throwing yourself in front of, just like, so they trip over you. I mean, metaphorically, don't trip people. Only metaphorically trip them. And then working hard, and enjoying spite.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have a quick question. I'll in addition to your skills in game writing, like I'm going to go way off the rails here. Do you also have skills in set design? Because like that is an amazing like backdrop you have. Like that's
This virtual background is beautiful.
it's virtual. Oh, okay.
It's
Well, it looks
virtual.
right.
No, if this was my house, like, wow, we
Yeah.
wish. I can't even fold like that. That's a lie.
Okay.
No, I will say like the first month of like when pandemic hit, I spent like like a week finding really good virtual backgrounds that have depth. And so I have like a variety of them. Like I have a classroom one for when I teach. This is my like I'm working in my amazing home office. I have like a patio for when I'm having drinks with friends virtually. So I have one for every occasion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you fooled me. I'm a filmmaker, and you totally fooled me. So way to go.
And you certainly have great taste.
Low key, I thought it was real too.
People are always like, "Where'd you get that photo?" I was like, "I do not know."
I did my sleuthing. But yeah, no, I feel like we need more personal information about you. Like, okay, so now we know all of this like spiteful flavor text that you add to the world. That is amazing. But who or what was your inspiration or introduction into this like sci-fi fantasy world that just got you hooked? That you're like, oh, this is the path. This is what I want to dedicate and make stories about.
So I've been into science fiction and fantasy as a reader, as like a consumer, as a player for like from like the earliest years of my life. Like some of the first things that I read were like Isaac Asimov's like Nine Tomorrows, which is a really short story collection, and like Piers Anthony is a weirdo, but I read his like all his whole incarnations of immortality. So I got into it, and then like playing wise, like I was always a video gamer, and sort of a tabletop gamer. One of my favorite stories to tell about myself is that when I was 13, I found out about Dungeons and Dragons for the first time because some guy in my junior high school was playing it with his friends, and I wasn't in the game. I just like saw it one time. And then I got all my girlfriends and I made them like go in a closet with me, and I made up what I thought D&D was. I wish I could find it. Like I literally just made up based on like one experience. There were no dice. I didn't think I knew dice were involved. I was like, and then it's like I tell you all a story and we go on an adventure. And so I thought I'd made this up in my mind until on Facebook, one of my friends from junior high school was like, oh, you do D&D now. Remember when you took us in that closet and made up that game? And I was like, it's real. It's real, guys.
Erin, that's just like playing back in the very beginning because the rules were so badly written that everybody was just was making it up, trying to figure out how do you play this game.
Oh my gosh. One day I will find those rules and probably in code, because when I was a kid, I also put all my like journals in code for like, I guess the people that would be finding them, but it was a very simple letter substitution code. So luckily I could easily break it today.
So I wanted to ask you, you've got a history with, just being a fan of sci-fi and a writer of sci-fi. I'm kind of curious, what are some changes that you would like to see to the genre as a whole?
Oh, wow. That's like, I will say in general, I'm always a big fan of broadening like where we draw from. Like one of the reasons, like this will flip over to the fantasy side, but one of the reasons I was so thrilled to be able to write on Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel and write the adventure that I did, Written in Blood, and the setting, God's Breath, is that it's like the Black South. And I was like, this isn't a thing that we like, that is a huge draw that people draw from. A lot of times it's medieval Europe, and medieval Europe is, well, I don't know if it was like great, like they didn't have, electricity, but it's a great place to draw from for story and lore. But there's so many other cultural backgrounds. There's so many other even ways of telling story or what we put an emphasis on. Like in that adventure and in God's Breath, the focus is on community as like the driver, as opposed to like sort of more individual glory. And so thinking about how does that work when you have individual players who want glory, like in this community environment, was really fun and really affected like everything from the like actual way that the community works and the world works to the actual big monster that you fight at the end is a community in its own way. So really fun. And on the sci-fi side, like probably like less space colonization, like colonialism wasn't great here, like no need to do it again in space. So I'm really interested in like really giving other cultures, alien cultures, depth. Like I love being able to like add more to figuring out why they are the way they are versus like they're all just the same. So anything that brings more cultural light, cultural depth, that's sort of my big thing, is like expanding the cultural landscape of both science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah.
Now, Erin, something that I'm really curious about is like the transformation that you go through from, just getting started in the industry, and now you're like winning awards and you got all this recognition and you're working on like huge projects and things like that. But what are some ways that you've found that you've been able to engage with the community in new ways that you maybe didn't before?
I probably could do a better job, I'll be honest, of engaging with the community. I'm talking to y'all. There you go.
Oh, okay.
But I a lot of times, like I try to stay booked and busy. So I'm working on a lot of projects at the same time. And sometimes it can be really easy to get head down and like not like come up and like see what's going on. So like I love watching actual plays. Like that's a way to like not engage directly, like I'm not talking to people, but I like watching actual plays that use work that I've done or cool work that other people have done. I like going to cons. I'm going to Gen Con for the first time. I have not been able to make it to Gen Con in the past, but I'm going for the first time. This time, I love Big Bad Con. I cannot say enough about how Big Bad Con was an amazing experience of community and getting a chance to talk to other writers, players, everybody. Like I'm a pretty friendly person, and while I'm afraid of social media, if you meet me in person, I'm quite nice. And so that, and like just getting a chance to kind of like, I'm on a lot of Discords too. Discords are super fun because I can engage whenever I want. I'm a night owl, and so at 3 a.m. I can say something and then go to sleep. And then when I wake up, people have responded to it.
Well, I look forward to hearing your review of Gen Con, and hopefully we bump into each other this year.
I hope so. I am very excited. It's going to be, I'm excited and scared. Sorry, that's an Into the Woods reference and story.
Oh.
No, this musical theater nerd got it. But I have a question for you. Have you had the chance to watch anybody play your adventure?
I have, and I learned.
And what's that like?
It's actually the most exciting. It's something that I think, like, if you can do it and you've written an adventure and somebody plays it, you should, because you learn from it. Like, you learn so much. Like, what are the things that people lean into? What are the things that people lean away from? There's also a Discord of people who like who DM for Radiant Citadel that I've snuck into. I've never said a word, but I like hearing what people like. I would love more of this. I wish we had this thing, a thing to do here, or I wish we had this thing to do there. And it's especially exciting because I'm going to confess something, since it's just the 5 of us.
Yeah, it's just
and
us.
No one
yes,
watching.
Just us and internet. Yes.
I'm going to be running Written in Blood at Gen Con. I am a player. There's like forever DMs. I'm a forever player. Like, I love writing, but I don't love trying to control all the things, but I'm giving it a go. And so I will be watching those actual plays 10 more times so that I can make sure that it's not going to go horribly wrong. And if it does, people, forgive me. I will try so hard to do it justice the way that these folks like inspire me, because really what you're doing when you write for stuff. When you're writing for tabletop, you're really just trying to put story in somebody else's hands, and seeing that story come to life at somebody else's table, that's the dream. Words on a page are great, but the dream is when somebody takes it and brings it to life and makes it real for themselves. Like, that's what I love about this work.
Ooh, that just gave me a little bit of palpitations right there.
Yeah.
No,
Nicely
I
put.
yeah, I think we have time for one more question. Let me see if chat has anything that they wanted to. Well, more of just it's just people agreeing that they're absolutely like,
Yeah.
yes, we want everything you're saying. Please give us more. I guess for the final question is like, so you mentioned that you are a teacher and such, and how does like do you reveal to your students about what else you do, about your other writings, and also if a student of yours or any young folk would come up and ask you like, hey, what are the tips you would give as an aspiring young writer, what would you tell them?
So I teach creative writing, which is lovely because I get to talk about writing. I teach speculative fiction writing. Yeah, next year I'm actually teaching about stories and scripts and games, which is amazing. So actually looking at how different formats inform the way that we write. And so I absolutely love it. I do tell my students, some of them are really into it. Some of them have never heard of it. I keep all of my the hardbacks that I have in my office so that when people come talk to me for office hours, they have to look at them. But the advice that I would give is like, tell your own story. There's a lot of writing advice out there. Like, so tell stories and tell your own stories. Like, it's good to get feedback. It's good to get stuff from other people, but it's good to get reviews. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is figure out the best way to tell the stories you want to tell, not the way to tell stories that other people wish you were telling. And I think that's especially important if you come from a marginalized group where your stories may not have been told as much in the past. Go out there, do it. We're excited. And we are here to like see, experience, read, and just be a part of the stories that you want to tell. You could do it.
Yes, that's such a great answer. Well, is there anything that you want to plug in? Just go ahead, do your spiel, do what you're most passionate about right now.
I am working on so many amazing projects. I just want to give a shout out to some of the indies I'm working on. So Triangle Agency, which has a Kickstarter coming up. Oh Captain, which is amazing. I have stuff coming out in Arcadia. The best way to find me is on Twitter at Nirele, Nirele. It is L Erin backwards. That doesn't fully make sense in Spanish, but I was a child. And so I'm really excited because I'm starting to introduce a newsletter, like literally imminently within the next day or two. So if you go on my Twitter, you'll find my newsletter, and then you can keep track of all the weird things that I'm up to and whether or not my DMing at Gen Con succeeds, fails, or in the middle.
Well, obviously, just based off this, we know you're gonna soar flying colors all around. Yeah, no, it was such a great interview with you. If you want, you just stick around just a bit. We're just going to go through our outro. And I wanted to just say again, thank you. You are such a lovely human being, lovely person, and we loved having you here.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me, and thanks to the Diana Jones, like just for the Emerging Designer Award, the program as a whole, and everything that y'all are doing to increase diversity and different voices within the tabletop space. Love it. I love y'all.
All the love. But yes, folks, that was our show today. But hey, wait, don't go too far. We still have a lot of stuff and content going on here. So right after this, stick around because we got more TableTakes game night. Javion is leading us with Monsters of the Week, and we are totally not messing things up and almost killing each other every episode. It's great. It's fine. Nothing's on fire. Nothing's killing us and shocking us to death. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And of course, afterwards at 5 p.m., join us for some joyful gaming around Sarah's table. They're going to be playing a lot of awesome games afterwards. And Mothman, I believe. Yes, Mothman. Da-da-da, fighter of the... Yes, sorry. I don't know why I did that intro song. Yeah, so you want to be a Mothman is the correct one. I just got stuck with the Always Sunny song. But of course, hey, Gen Con TV is more than just TableTakes and game night and Sarah's table. We got a whole list of shows. All of these, of course, are Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to go ahead and join us, 9 a.m. Peter versus the Machine. We are still doing more terraforming of Mars. Peter, are you winning against that machine?
I think I'm going to school the machine. Yeah, that's
Oh,
Yeah.
Take that,
Take that,
robot
machines.
That's right. And let the machine cheats again.
We never know. We'll see. And of course, after that, at 4 p.m., board games with the Brothers Murph. And after that, at 6 p.m., Dress to Quest. Wednesday, following up, we got 6 p.m. with Actor Roki coming in, doing their awesome theater performance with all of their lovely actors. Thursday, 10 a.m., Blood on the Clock Tower. Followed by 4 p.m. Roll with Rem Alternus. Then join us back here, of course, Friday, the best day, of course. I am non-biased with saying, yes, of course, this is the best day. And we're going to have more exciting interviews, more TableTakes game nights, more Sarah's Table. And thank you for all of you who are viewing us, watching us either here on Twitch or later on 24 hours later on YouTube. And of course, thank you for Peter, Javion, Noir, and Erin for joining us today and giving so much lovely personality. I appreciate you all. And remember, if you miss any of our programs, you can look up our VODs here on Twitch or wait 24 hours later to watch and comment on YouTube. We like comments. Please leave us comments. Also, don't forget to just follow Gen Con TV here for more of the best 4 days of gaming all year long. I hope you guys have a wonderful start of Pride. Be lovely, be queer, be everything you want to be. Goodbye, friends.